Our story begins not amidst the sands of Egypt, but on the battlefields of Napoleon Bonaparte's Egyptian campaign. In 1799, as French soldiers worked to fortify their position near the town of Rashid, also known as Rosetta, a discovery was made that would forever change our understanding of ancient Egypt. A soldier unearthed a large black basalt slab inscribed with a curious mix of scripts. This was the Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone held the key to unlocking the mysteries of Egyptian hieroglyphs, a writing system that had long baffled scholars. The stone bore the same inscription in 3 different languages: ancient Greek, Demotic script, which is a cursive form of Egyptian writing, and hieroglyphs. Scholars, recognizing the Greek text as a decree issued by Ptolemy V, realized they had stumbled upon a unique opportunity. The Rosetta Stone provided a means to decipher the enigmatic hieroglyphs by comparing them to the known Greek text. The laborious task of deciphering fell to a young French scholar named Jean-François Champollion. Champollion's breakthrough came when he realized that hieroglyphs represented not just words, but sounds and ideas. This realization revolutionized the study of ancient Egypt. With the ability to read hieroglyphs, scholars could finally delve into the vast corpus of texts left behind by this ancient civilization. The Rosetta Stone, once a forgotten artifact in the sands of time, became a beacon, illuminating the history, culture, and beliefs of a civilization that had flourished for over 3,000 years. No other geographical feature has played a more pivotal role in shaping the destiny of a civilization than the Nile River has for ancient Egypt. Flowing northwards for over 4,000 miles, the Nile is the longest river in the world. It snakes its way through the arid deserts of northeast Africa, a life-giving artery sustaining a narrow strip of fertile land. The ancient Egyptians recognized the Nile's significance, referring to it as Ar, meaning black in reference to the rich dark silt it deposited after its annual floods. The Nile's annual inundation was a predictable and life-giving event. Each year, as the river overflowed its banks, it deposited a layer of fertile silt across the floodplain, enriching the soil and making it ideal for agriculture. The Egyptians developed sophisticated irrigation systems, including canals, basins, and shadufs, which are lever-operated water-lifting devices to manage the floodwaters and extend their agricultural reach. The Nile's predictable rhythm of flood and retreat dictated the rhythm of life in ancient Egypt. The annual inundation marked the beginning of the agricultural year, a time for planting and sowing. It also served as a natural timekeeper, dividing the year into 3 distinct seasons: Akhet, which is the inundation, Peret, the growing season, and Shemu, the harvest season. The Nile was not merely a source of water and fertile land, it was the very lifeblood of ancient Egypt. It facilitated communication and trade, connecting communities along its banks. The river also provided a source of food, with its abundant fish, waterfowl, and papyrus reeds. The fertile Nile Valley provided the foundation for ancient Egyptian civilization. The Egyptians developed highly productive agricultural practices that allowed them to produce a surplus of food, fueling population growth and societal development. They mastered the cultivation of a variety of crops, including barley, wheat, flax, and papyrus. These crops provided the staples of the Egyptian diet, raw materials for clothing and other goods, and in the case of papyrus, a versatile writing material. The Egyptians were skilled farmers, developing innovative techniques to maximize their agricultural output. They used plows drawn by oxen to till the land and invented the sickle to harvest their crops more efficiently. They also developed sophisticated irrigation systems to control the flow of water to their fields, ensuring a consistent supply even during the dry season. The agricultural surplus generated by the Egyptians had profound societal implications. It freed up a portion of the population from the demands of subsistence farming, allowing them to specialize in other trades and crafts. This specialization led to the development of a more complex and stratified society, with artisans, priests, scribes, and administrators playing increasingly important roles. The surplus also facilitated trade, as the Egyptians exchanged their grain and other agricultural products for goods from distant lands. The agricultural bounty of the Nile Valley was the bedrock upon which the grandeur of ancient Egyptian civilization was built. For much of its early history, ancient Egypt was divided into two distinct kingdoms, Upper Egypt in the south and Lower Egypt in the north. Upper Egypt, encompassing the narrow Nile Valley south of the delta, was a land of rugged cliffs and desert expanses. Lower Egypt, encompassing the fertile Nile Delta region, was a land of marshes, lakes, and abundant wildlife. These two regions, though geographically and culturally distinct, were linked by the Nile River. Around 3100 BCE, a ruler from Upper Egypt emerged to unify the two lands under his rule. This ruler, known as Narmer, is credited with founding the first dynasty of Egypt and ushering in a new era of unity and prosperity. The unification of Egypt under Narmer was a pivotal event in Egyptian history. It marked the beginning of a unified political and cultural entity that would endure for centuries. While the exact details of Narmer's conquest remain shrouded in mystery, archaeological evidence, including the Narmer Palette, a ceremonial artifact discovered at Hierakonpolis, suggests a violent struggle for supremacy. The Narmer Palette depicts the king wearing the crown of Upper Egypt, smiting his enemies and unifying the two lands under his rule. Narmer established his capital at Memphis, strategically located at the juncture of Upper and Lower Egypt. This strategic location allowed him to control trade routes and consolidate his power over the newly unified kingdom. The unification of Egypt under Narmer laid the foundation for the development of a centralized state, a sophisticated administrative system, and a flourishing culture that would leave an indelible mark on human history. The unification of Egypt under Narmer marked the beginning of the early dynastic period, around 3100 to 2686 BCE, a time of significant cultural and political development. However, the roots of Egyptian civilization run far deeper, stretching back millennia to the pre-dynastic period, roughly 6000 to 3100 BCE. During this time, small scattered communities along the Nile began to coalesce into larger settlements, laying the groundwork for the emergence of a unified Egyptian state. Archaeological evidence from sites such as Naqada, Hierakonpolis, and Abydos provides glimpses into the lives of these early Egyptians. They were skilled farmers cultivating crops such as barley, wheat, and flax. They developed pottery-making techniques, creating distinctive black-topped redware pottery. They also developed a system of writing using hieroglyphs, though these early forms differed from the later standardized system. The pre-dynastic period witnessed the emergence of distinct cultural groups, each with its own unique traditions and beliefs. The Badarian culture, named after the site of El Badari, is known for its finely crafted pottery, copper tools, and elaborate burials. The Naqada culture, named after the site of Naqada, is characterized by its distinctive pottery styles, increased social stratification, and the emergence of powerful elites. These pre-dynastic cultures laid the foundation for the rise of dynastic Egypt, developing the agricultural, technological, and cultural innovations that would shape the course of Egyptian civilization. The early dynastic period, from around 3100 to 2686 BCE, marked the beginning of pharaonic rule in Egypt. Pharaohs, considered divine kings, held absolute power and were believed to be the intermediaries between the gods and the people. They were responsible for maintaining order, ensuring the prosperity of the land, and leading their people in war. The early dynastic period was a time of intense rivalry between different city-states vying for control of the Nile Valley. Kings commissioned elaborate tombs known as mastabas to ensure their safe passage into the afterlife. Mastabas were rectangular structures with sloping sides, built of mud brick and later stone. Inside the mastaba, a burial chamber housed the deceased king's body and grave goods. As the power of the pharaohs grew, so too did the size and complexity of their tombs. The reign of King Djoser, around 2670 BCE, marked a turning point in Egyptian architecture. Djoser's architect, Imhotep, designed a revolutionary tomb complex at Saqqara known as the Step Pyramid. The Step Pyramid, constructed by stacking 6 massive mastabas on top of each other, was the first monumental stone structure in history. It marked the beginning of pyramid building in Egypt, a tradition that would culminate in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. The early dynastic period witnessed the development of a sophisticated system of government, a complex religious belief system, and the emergence of a distinctive artistic style that would influence Egyptian art for centuries.